Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I've decided that today is the day to finally say goodbye to my big fat pimped up Snotter book. I've got something else I want to get started on, so today what I'm going to do is a quick flip through of this and show you what I've got to do to get started on next. I have to say I have enjoyed This Is Not a Book, but nothing like as much as I did the Wreck the Journal, which was the first one of these kind of books that I did. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box for the flip through I did of this one a while back. I think it's just that the prompts in This Is Not a Book, a lot of them are more activity based and kind of writing things down and, you know, quite fun, but not so visually interesting, not so artsy. Yeah, just not quite so much my cup of tea. I haven't finished all of them, I haven't done every single page, but I'm got to do every single page. Some of them I've just kind of glued together. I'll show you as I go along. So this was my Wreck the Journal. This one, it ended up getting very, very fat because I made a lot of kind of pop-up pages and things like that, you know, things that just got really, really bulky. So I ended up taking it all apart at one point and kind of rebinding it together. These are just the opening pages. So I guess this was page 1. I've lost the page number, but anyway, This Is Not a Book. This is an inconvenience. Take this. This is not a book everywhere you go for 1 week. You must place it in full view at all times. So that's a really good example of how, yes, you can do that, but there's nothing visual in the book. So, well, I just ended up splashing it with colour and stuff anyway, but that's kind of what I mean. Page 2, 2 and 3, This Is Not a Book, this is a recording device. So I went sort of slightly outside the box with this one, and I kind of created an artist's palette, and I actually peeled these pieces of paint. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. It's not focusing very well. That's better. So these pieces of paint were actually peeled off the plastic paint palettes that I used. So it really was a recording, in a way, of all the pieces of all the paintings and things that I was doing at the time. Pages 4 and 5. This is not a book. This is a secret agent. You had to disguise it as something else, so I disguised it as a box of sushi. This is just coloured pencils. I found, and I probably will do this again, that coating the pages with a layer of transparent gesso before I started meant that I could get this kind of effect with coloured pencils, whereas if you just use the coloured pencils straight on the book paper as it comes, they wouldn't really work so well. This is another good example of the prompts I just didn't enjoy so much. So this is a test of endurance. Hold This Is Not a Book above your head for as long as possible. Write your time here. I just wrote nope. This relates to another prompt later in the book where you had to cover a page with dashed lines or something. I liked this one. So this is not a book, this is a nature emulator. And you were supposed to create, I can't remember what the rest of the prompt was, but you had to kind of create a scene from nature or something. So I tore up magazines and sort of collaged this seascape and then used, I think it was my pan pastels to make that stormy sky. Enjoyed that one. No, this was 2 pages originally, so it was make this page as big as possible was part 1, and part 2 was make this page as small as possible. So this was the first page, make it as big as possible. Sorry. I did an origami, I think it's called a map fold this. So that was big, and then the other page was make this page as small as possible. So I just cut it right down and made a tiny page. I made it, this is a wish garden. I think it might have been a thought garden. I can't remember now. You were supposed to record your thoughts or something on here anyway. So I made it a wish garden. Underneath here, in amongst the root system, I wrote the words, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. And then I did some kidney beans starting to sprout in my garden, and added a little bit of twinkle to them. I don't know if it will pick that up with my Wink Stella pen. This one was to make this page as annoying as possible, cover it with several annoying things. This is all about how annoying I find noisy eating, like people eating crisps and things like that. So quite fun. This one was the last one I did, I think. This is a portable workstation. I've decided to make it Leonardo da Vinci's workstation. So I've done some of his little kind of similar to his kind of sketches here, and I collaged these pens on instead of the biro that was there or whatever it was. You were supposed to add some notes, so I made more old-fashioned-y looking notes. Did some wax seals here. Matt was supposed to have a cup of tea or coffee, but I gave him a nice little cup of wine there. And these are contracts for some of his important works of art. This is a choice. Oh yes, you had to go. Yeah, ended up picking a page that I just decided in the end I wasn't going to do. So this is one of the earlier pages that I did, and I was still really enjoying it at this stage. So this is not a book. This is a transformation. So this page I actually cut into strips and rolled up to create these beads. Then covered them with rainbows and varnished them and Mod Podged them or something. So they're actually quite tactile, quite hard. They've come out quite hard actually. Yeah, really quite pleased with those. I ought to try it again. And then on the opposite page I just collaged some butterflies to signify transformation as well. This one was this is a disappearance. So I made things disappear in several ways. So hidden under the cloud is part of this saying. So try to be the rainbow. So you can just about make out the words rainbow there, and then I made the words disappear. I made these words disappear by putting a cloud over them. Try to be the rainbow in someone's cloud, which was a saying by Maya Angelou. I think this might have been the very first page I did. Oh, it's falling apart. This is an art gallery, and I think I changed the wording slightly. It might have said this is an art installation or something. And it was very much, again, activity based. You were supposed to take it out. And number one, we were in lockdown, I think, at the time. And number two, I just wouldn't do that. So anyway, I did these little separate doodles and made little frames for them and called it an art gallery. This is a blank space. It says, think of nothing. How many examples of nothing can you think of? Draw nothing here. So I could have just left it blank, but I've been boring, so I just made it very grey. This is a voyage, so you had to fold up the little paper boat and put it in the sea. I could have been a bit more elaborate with that one, but I wasn't feeling very inspired. This is just showing through from the next page. Now I might come back to this one. This is a scavenger hunt. So I created the little kind of cabinet here to put all these things in. So I might come back and finish that one yet. Oh, this one, it started off really well. This is a playground, so I thought I'm just going to play with my stuff. So I had a silicone mat with paint all over it, and I used big strips of wide clear tape to lift the paint off the mat and stuck it onto here. This was the shape that was originally this was the shape that was originally on the page, and what the prompt said, which I painted over, was find an unusual way to fill the space with colour or something, or colour in the space. So that's how I did it, was by pulling the paint off this palette, and then I painted black around it and ended up doodling, and yeah. This one was I quite enjoyed doing at the time. So this is a chain letter. So it was the opposite page, was a chain letter. So I actually cut a frame out. Oh yeah, the letter was printed there. I cut that out, leaving a window, and then cut that letter into long strips and made them into paper chains and stuck them in. And then I did this. It's a version of a Zentangle tangle. Probably called chain or chain link or something. This is, I think it said this is a space for public comment or something. So this is something, I did say this in public at work the other day. because it's something I believe there were some good things about lockdown. I've scribbled here some of my thoughts about it. I'm not saying for a minute that I don't have enormous sympathies with people who've struggled through lockdown for various reasons, either because they actually had COVID, or people, their loved ones had COVID, or because their jobs and homes are at risk because of lockdown. You know, I'm not trying to trivialise that, but there were some good things that came out of it. I think it brought communities together. It brought families together, going out and doing things they might not have found time to do otherwise. It brought creativity out in a lot of people, or, you know, a lot of people have said that they rediscovered things they used to love doing and haven't had time for. So, yeah, it's good to try and see the positive to every hideous situation. So that's what I mean there. This is quite fun. This is an action sculpture. I used a page out of an old Ladybird book, one of the kind of science-based ones, where Jane is showing how to make things move more easily, and I wrote a little story. I'll read it for you. And he just looks like he's messing about in the background. He's actually demonstrating how ball bearings work under his feet, but it just looks like he's messing about while she does all the science. I think the idea was to turn the book into part of an action sculpture, so I made this book in her pile. This is not a book. See what I can do, Jane, said Peter. See what I can do. Yes, Peter, that is impressive, said Jane, but please stop messing about. I'm trying to demonstrate how ball bearings reduce friction so that objects can move more easily. Look, Jane, look, said Peter. I can spin very fast on this gizmo you made. It is called a ball race, Peter, said Jane. Tee-hee-hee, giggled Peter. Twat, sighed Jane. I like that at least they had, because in my day it was Janet and John, not Peter and Jane. Peter and Jane were a bit more progressive. Janet and John were much more old-fashioned, and Janet would definitely have been indoors helping Mummy make cakes while John was outside in the garage learning about ball bearings from Daddy. That's how it would have been. So I quite like that they had the girl demonstrating there how she can move that big pile of books with just her little finger, thanks to the ball bearings. Okay, enough of that. This is a concealment, so at some point I think it's a little bit further on, there's a page you could cut out and use to conceal another page you didn't like, which was the one that came of this set of directions. I think I tried going over it 2 or 3 times. I couldn't make it, so I didn't hate looking at it every time I opened the book, so I concealed it. And I added some colour here. It seems like such a long time ago since I did this one. So the idea was to cut all these out and use them to turn everyday objects into little characters by adding these items. And I guess you could have done that with real objects, but you know, I wanted something pretty in my book, so I actually drew these again onto paper and made these little, you know, drew some everyday objects and then used the features to make them into characters. That was quite fun. Quite enjoyed that. Most of these I think I have filmed, and they will be in my Snotter Book playlist if you want to have a look at them. This is a factory that creates very small books. So the factory itself is very small. This is life size. So I don't know if you can see the layers there. I did some bricks around to make it look as if, you know, there's a hole in the wall and we can peek straight through into the factory. And I made this rainbow coloured book, and the rainbow light's kind of shining up onto the people that are working in the factory, so you can see the rainbow colours going through. And I made a tiny book, tiny version of the book, so it's even got my little beads like in my real Snotter book. I Can Sing a Rainbow by Arty Farty. Arty Farty's my nickname, and my blog name is Arty Farty Annie. Contents: red, yellow, pink, green, orange, purple, blue. And it's the rainbow song. Red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow. You can sing one too. You can see why I'm not a singer. Singing's not my strong suit. By the same author, Eat the Rainbow Every Day. I love that idea of eating the rainbow. Eat foods of all different colours. to make sure you get all your nutrients. Don't know how scientific it is, but oh, this was the one. Yeah, this is a concealment. So this is the one that I used to stick over a page I didn't like. That one. Hide in place, stash your secrets here. You see, again, I don't know what to do with that. This is one I've painted over because I didn't like it. Can't remember what it was. Oh, this is a commitment. Do one thing on the list every day for a month, and I chose draw something. So I drew a little thing for every month. Again, I think I filmed that one if you're interested to watch the process. This one was fun to do. That's where these strings came from, actually. So what you do, you don't have the beads on them at the time. You dip a piece of string in the paint. You sort of place it on, just drop it onto the page like that, close the page and pull the string, and you get these amazing patterns. It's very fun to do. And then of course I ended up with these rainbow colour strings, so I let them dry and then threaded beads on and used them as a kind of page marker. Stuck them on there. That was a fun one. Now you can see here is an example, there's probably been others as I've gone along, of where I've stuck together a couple of pages, partly because it's going to make it more sturdy, and also because I just didn't want to do the prompt that was on the page that's in there. This is an embellishment. Oh, I wanted I've got this lovely masking tape, and I use it for all sorts of bits and pieces, like covering my address when I'm doing unboxings and things. I thought, I just want to use a piece somewhere where I'm going to keep it because it's so lovely. I've had it for ages, but you know, so I just put it there because it's another kind of embellishment. Never did get round to cutting out the frame and using it to embellish another page. You can see I've stuck a couple of pages there have been lost. This one was fun. This is a group activity. That was with stamping. I must have had a stamp with a chameleon on, and I did that thing where you mask, you create a little mask by stamping on a piece of post-it paper or something. So you can stamp on top and on top and on top, and it appears that they're going behind each other. Again, I'm sure I did a process video for that one. That's quite cute in the end. This is a grouping of circles with no purpose whatsoever. That was quite fun to do. I just made it look like a lot of bubbles and transitioned the colours as I went across. Quite enjoyed that. Stuck a couple more pages together there. This is a habitat for microorganisms, and I've crossed that out and put the burrowers, which is a play on the word the borrowers. I don't know if anybody watching will remember that. I loved that book. Yeah, so I've just done as if they burrowed into the book and created this little community inside my book. This is their allotments and a pond so they can sit round. That's all little beds and sofas and kitchens and things. No, I haven't done this one yet, but I've not covered it up because I'm definitely not going to be cutting out and making a three-dimensional diorama. I did think I might do something about a 24-hour crafting and arts and crafting channel, which is definitely what I would do. But either way, I quite like the look of this old-fashioned telly. It reminds me very much of the ones I watched when I was a kid, so I've left it there anyway. What was this one? This is a dare. Write a list of the things you'd like to try in your lifetime. Well, you know, seeing as I'm over 60 now, I've tried most of the daring things I want to try. Most of the things I've got left that I want to try are all kinds of art and crafty things, so they're not very daring. But these are some of the things that I haven't done that would take a bit more daring for me. So I always said I'd dye my hair pink. Once I finally go completely grey, I'm going to dye my hair pink. Go on a zip slide, I still fancy that. Sleep in a tree house. Oh yeah, I'd still like to do that. Yarn bombing, that's something I'd love to have the opportunity to do that. And red DMs. I've always wanted red DMs. One day I will do that. So there's me with my pink hair. All stuck together. This is a hidden message. Find a way to hide a message. So I just used different colour highlighters to highlight. To be honest, I can't quite be asked to actually hide in a message somewhere, but I might, for completion, I might come back and do that. This is a map, so I did more of a plan than a map. This is a plan of my kitchen, and I will go back and do arrows of me cooking a meal from where I walk in, switch the oven on, go to the fridge, come back to the sink, go over here, go here. It'll end up being an absolute... Or maybe nip out here to the garage where we've got an extra fridge and we keep more stuff. I need to mark that on. bins. That says gin o'clock because that's what my doormat says. It's the back door. Virtual reality. Oh no, I haven't done this one, but I've left it because I did have an idea about this one. So make a list of your personality traits. Take those traits and exaggerate or embellish them. Create a character, blah, blah, blah. So I thought I might be warrior woman, not warrior, warrior. Warrior woman. She has the ability to predict things that might never happen. She can make lists and lists and lists of lists. Anyway, yeah, so I might come back to that. The top secret document. This is an excerpt from another book. See, I haven't stuck these together yet because I thought I might do them. I might enjoy creating a book cover, but this is an interview. I might fill this in just because it'd be quite fun to look back later. You know, what's my favourite thing to eat? Describe the taste of your favourite food without comparing it to other foods. That might be quite fun, yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So if I looked at this again in 5 years, it would be interesting, wouldn't it? This is a network, so I just doodled and I actually cut out so you could see through to the next page, but then I stuck 2 pages together, so made that pointless. This is to go to the closest park. I actually quite fancy still doing this. Spend 10 minutes looking at the sky. What do you see? Document yourself standing under a tree. So I could draw, at least I'd have something to draw there. Arrange something you find into a circle, leaves or stones, etc. Yeah, that'd be quite good. List the number of people you see. Leave something you feel is at a secret location. I actually quite fancy doing this one. I might do this. This is a window. I had fun with this one. These are my little miniature plates that I made, and I have got a video on how you make these on my channel as well. Very easy and completely free to make. So yeah, that's the kind of window I'd like, the kind of view I'd like to have out of my window. It's actually a National Trust property. Well, obviously a few pages there I didn't fancy doing. Now this one, this is a material. Conduct some experiments to uncover the properties of the paper. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. But I do quite like the look of the crumpled paper, so I've just left it. This is performance, choose one. I chose this one. While in a public place, draw a large circle and colour it in. I just did it in my garden. And I just did it with, what are they called? Gelatos, these. So you just, you scribble on there and wet your finger and... So I managed to do that in about 30 seconds. This is an inventory of your things. Make a list of items you own. I had an idea for drawing an abacus here and then making these drawers so they would actually open and you could pull things out. And I've probably got about 5,000 books. And I don't know. I may come back to that. This is a plate. Put your dinner here. Quite fancy doing that one, so I haven't glued it together. Oh, this was the time. This was... what was the actual original? This is a customizable object, so I just kind of added some colour and stuff here, but this is the time when I did this to my work. This is mail. I do still want to cut this out and send it through the post and stick it back in because I think that'd be quite fun to do. I won't send it to a friend though. I'll send it to myself. This is a form of movement. I've left this here because I'm going to make paper springs and I might do a video about that because paper springs are brilliant fun to do and a great way to use up scraps, and I can just have kind of animated words on these paper springs, so I deliberately left that one. Random adventure. Go outside, walk until you see something red, take 10 steps, look down at your feet and describe what you see in detail. So I might draw what I see. So that's an okay prompt. I've left that one. This is a dream catcher. So I just use colour pencils again. Picture of myself dreaming. I have got a dream catcher. The same friend that slept in the treetop treehouse made me the dream catcher. And she was taught by Native Americans how to do it. So yeah, it's a very precious thing to me. That is, yeah. And there's me. I used to have a lot of dreams about flying, and this is me flying. Sensory stimulation. Collect 5 things, 1 for each sense. I still might do that, so I've left it. This is a sculpture I did. Use this page to create a three-dimensional object. So I actually cut a square out of the page and folded it into a paper crane. And I put some vellum behind it just for a bit of stability, really. It was too fragile. This is a game. Again, I haven't got rid of this one because I did have an idea that I might create some kind of a game. I don't want to actually play the game they're talking about, retrieving not a book and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I've got an idea for that one. This is a puzzle. Yeah, so this is the one that, how did they word it? This is a puzzle. Can you make a hole in this page that a person can pass through? And I think you can go online to get the answer. I haven't actually done that to see what their answer is yet, so I ought to do that really, to see if it's the same as mine. But this is something that I did years ago when I was a kid. I think they did it on Blue Peter or something. I've broken it there, but you cut all these slits and then eventually you can open this page up to be enormous, and I could easily step through it. So look, this is a puzzle. This is a declaration. Carve something onto this tree. So I carved my blog name. I just wrote my blog name in sort of carved looking letters, kind of. Mirror. Create a self-portrait by documenting the things that define you. Clothes. Yeah, I quite fancy doing that again, just because when I'm looking back at this in years to come, it'll be quite interesting. And then this is my random collection of found items, which I still need to number and do a little key for. So you're supposed to make up, you're supposed to write notes about how they're magic, which I'm not sure if I want to do, but I did think of some little stories I could include in the key. So I'll probably use my old typewriter to type little names, little numbers for each one, and then on the key I'll say what they are. So this could be a lasso for catching unicorns. This could be the One Ring. And this could be a feather from a baby phoenix. This could be a seed from the faraway tree. This could be, I don't know, can't think about this. Could be some hair from the beard of Gimli. This could be an embroidery thread that was woven by Rapunzel. And so on, and so on. You get the drift. Here is a little piece of 3D printed piece, AFA, Arty Farty Annie. My son made that for me when he first had his 3D printer. That's my beer bottle top from the Knitting and Stitching show. Key to 5 cities. And the severed hand, I'm not sure. Severed hand of a fairy. Anyway, you get the drift. So this is a conundrum. I was fed up with the book by this stage, can you tell? This is an unusual paragraph. It's a conundrum for you to sort out. How quickly can you find out what is so uncommon about it? It looks so ordinary, blah, 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 blah. Eventually you realise that what's unusual is the letter E does not appear anywhere in this paragraph. That's why I put the letter E there. This is an accident. I can't remember how I did this. I think I just dripped ink on and blew it around with a straw, just let it do its own thing, and then smushed the pages shut and did that. And then I got, I've forgotten what this is called. Scribble it out of a bottle, straight out of a bottle. Something writer, paper writer or something. More pages stuck together there. This is landscape. So I started colouring in the grass and everything they'd got there, and then started to bring it out here. And then got fed up partway through. This is a lucky dip. I can't remember what the original thing was. Chance operation, maybe something operation. I don't know. But I decided to change it slightly and call it This Is a Lucky Dip. It had prompts on squares on the opposite page, so I cut all of them up, coloured them. I did some of them, but never got around to doing all of them. Describe yourself without using words. List all the sounds you hear. So some of those I've already done, and they are in the there was a little book attached to this. So some of the prompts were completed in there. repetitive motion. I was fed up with this stage. You can tell. Oh, this one was fun. This is an impermanent object. Find a way to dispose of this page. So I set fire to it and then had a slight panic on camera when I realised it wasn't going to go out as easily as I thought it would. Oh, this is the page that I went to. Pick a number, skip forward 5 pages, do that page immediately. And this is the one I landed on. Make a list of the things you most enjoy about being on the planet. I stuck this label on, which I happen to have, off a bag of fish and chips. I'm meant to come back and start writing a list of things I enjoy about being on this planet, but I haven't done it yet. Guest collaboration page. I might still do that because I quite like having other people make a contribution. Yeah, I didn't want to do this close your eyes or use a blindfold and walk around my house or yard and describe the experience, but I quite liked the look of the page, so I left it. Well, this is a bit fun. I'd forgotten about this one. So, what was that? This is not a book, this is a wall. That must have been the prompt. So I actually made it look like a wall. I think I've used, what have I used there? Pencils or acrylic paints, or both. And then I did some graffiti, again, Arty Farty Annie AFA. And you can see the little handprints of whoever naughty person has done the graffiti. And inside that window, up at the pool, woohoo, there she is with her mask on. Whoever could that be? Purple hair this time, not pink. She's done it, but now she's looking a bit guilty and worried. I think this is the last one. This is a reproduction. So you had to scribble on there with charcoal or something. That's what I used anyway. And then reproduce, draw here and then reproduce it by scribbling on charcoal. That's what I did there. And that's the end. So that's my 2... that's the first one I did. It's not a book. Definitely, having spent a lot of time on this one. It's the same author, it's Kerry Smith. For me, I much prefer the Wreck This Journal. But that's not to say that this one isn't fun. It's a lot of fun. I just think it's a different kind of thing. So, what to do next? Well, I had 2 ideas, couldn't choose between the 2, so I ended up getting both. First, I went for another Wreck This Journal, but this time I got the Wreck This Journal now in colour. A lot of the prompts are the same, I think most of them are the same, but it will come out differently every time. So I can't wait to get started on that. And I've also got different author, Mariah Elizabeth. Totally different kind of thing. She's got lots of videos on YouTube as well. She's very big on YouTube and I love what she does. Mine undoubtedly will come out completely different. This is it's nicer paper actually. What's the paper like on this one? Yes, I think this is a bit nicer paper than the first Wreck This Journal as well. So let's have a look. Let's have a bit of a compare. It's about the same size and everything that this one started off. It just got fat because of the layers of paint and stuff. I'm trying to find one that's got the original paper. Here we are. Yeah. So you can see the paper's that quite cheap off-white book paper. This feels smoother and it's whiter. So that's probably a good thing. Yeah, there's another. Oh, that's Paper Springs. There we are. Yeah. I think the paper's going to be nicer. And it will be nice to have the colour as well. Yeah, a lot of this will be the same. I remember this prompt. Here we are. That one started off as fingerprints. So that page is that one. And in fact on this one there's no colour, so it's pretty much what I started off with. And there's no way this would never happen again. So much of this was happenstance. So it'll be really interesting to see where this goes. Yeah, it's so much more... Oh, look at the colours. I don't know, I can't think of a better word than arty. It's so much more arty than the This Is Not a Book. I'm really looking forward to having a go with that. And this one's quite different, so there's no colour in it. And each page, each prompt says create. That's the first one. Create letters. Create a recorded conversation. Create a family. Create a border. Create a page for stickers. Create a fantasy home. Create plans for a building. Yeah, so they're not kind of activities, are they? Well, they are, but they're all inspiring you to draw or paint something. To me, yeah. So very different, two very different things. I might try and do one of each week, and keep them both going side by side, because I won't want to sort of work all the way through one without trying the other. So yeah. So and we have there's been Snotter back. Poor Snotter. I don't want Snotter to think, I didn't enjoy her at all, because for a while I couldn't get enough. I just couldn't stop. I think I did all the prompts that appealed to me, and then got left with quite a lot that didn't appeal so much. I think that's what it was. But yeah, I've had a good time. I've had a good time with Snotter. I had a good time with Wreck This Journal, and I cannot wait now to start on these. So watch this space. Let's go back. Yeah, watch this space. I can't wait to get started. I've got so much going on. But it's lovely. It's lovely to have all these, to be bursting with creative ideas, and to be lucky enough to have the space to do it. I just need a little bit more time. I just need elastic days. Anyway, that's enough wombling on for me. Thanks very much for watching today, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.